Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to another review video. If you need a stereo for your Fiat 500 or your Abarth and it's a pre-facelift, i.e. 2008 to 2015, this may be the one for you. So this is an aftermarket stereo, but if you recognise the logo there, this is a stereo from the premium supplier Xtrons. So these stereos are a lot more expensive than the ones you get from AliXpress, but Xtrons have an extremely good reputation, not only for the quality of their stereos and the quality of the software that runs on their stereos, but of their after sales support, their customer support, if you have trouble fitting it. Xtrons made contact with me, asked me if I would review one of their stereos, so it is going into one of my project cars, and today we're going to first unbox it, show you what we've got in the box, so let's go. Okay, one of the most important things is the CAN bus box. That CAN bus box, once you've set the stereo up, you can go into a menu on the car and you can select the car that you're putting this in. That will stop your mileage flashing, and this CAN bus box will also allow your steering controls to work. That's all part of the settings on there. So the cheap aftermarket ones, you get those as well, but as I say, I've heard really good things about Xtrons, and one of those things is the CAN bus box that you get with it. So what else have we got? We've got the main loom here. So that's the main connector with all the plugs on the end. A lot of these, it looks, when you first, if you've never done one of these before, it all looks a bit ooh when you first get it out and you see the amount of wires. A lot of those wires, in most installations, you won't even need. I'm going to do a separate video for how to remove your standard stereo, because obviously to put this in you've got to take your old stereo out. If you don't know how to do that, it would be handy for you to learn how to do that. So if you want to learn how to do that, click on the link above, or if you wait to the end of the video, I will link it at the end of the video, and I'll also put a link in the description, but that will be the first video to go live. So if you want to watch that, it will show you how to remove the stereo, how to take the vents out, and then hopefully this will fit in your existing cage. Now, one of the problems with the Chinese ones is this can be very tight on the so tight you can barely get it in the existing cage, and in some instances people, including myself, have had to take the cage out and then it doesn't fit in properly. The other problem with some of the Chinese ones is some of these connections are on the top, and that stops it from pushing in properly as well. So hopefully we won't have that problem with these. In fact, I've even got a spare cage somewhere. I'll rake the spare cage out and see if we can try inserting it and see if it works before we actually put it into the car. So I will be back and we'll get this in the car, and we'll fire it up and we'll have a little play around with it and see exactly what the specifications are and how it works. So right, first thing you do is put that main plug in to the socket. There you go, that's clicked into position. So as I say, that is your main one. So you've got, what is that one? I don't know what that one is. Don't know. We won't worry about that at the moment. Oh, that's, yes we do. That's the CAN bus box, the all-important CAN bus box. So we must plug that in. Now, was that the right way? Yes. So we must plug that CAN bus in, because that is the thing that's going to help it identify what the car is. Well, it doesn't seem to want to click in. What we don't want is it coming out, of course. I think it's in. Yeah, that is in. So that's that. You can install a dash cam. You can also install reversing cameras. I don't know which one this is. I'm not installing either, so I'm not going to be using it, but I am going to plug it in. So because if somebody wants to use one, then it's already there for them, and then they can just do it. And that's a 4-pin, so that one will go in there. He says. That's it. It helps if you try and put it around the right way, of course. We've got this one here. Now, this is the one that's got the 4G on it. Now, I don't know whether we're going to be using this 4G or not, but this is not a car. This car is not for me. This car will be getting sold. So, what else have we got on here? Microphone. So we need it anyway because we need the microphone for the Bluetooth. It doesn't actually come with a microphone. So we might not necessarily need this. And as I say, we've got this 4G SIM card reader, which again I'm not going to use, but the person who buys this car might want to put a SIM card in it, so I'm going to install it anyway, and we'll leave that in the bottom of the, we'll feed that down and we'll leave that in the bottom of the footwell. So we'll plug that in, push that home, there you go, that's in. As you can see, there are quite a lot of wires. We got the GPS receiver. Now with the GPS, just take it out, stop the noise. With the GPS receiver, it is sufficient to put your GPS receiver down the back of the cage. You can do it, you can do that, but I prefer to get a better signal is to run it and stick it on the corner of the windscreen over there. That's my preferred method. And then what we do with that is we connect that to, everything's labelled, so we've got a GPS there, so you push that in, and then there's a little nut that you do up. So you can't really see it, but you can do that with your fingers. You don't really need a spanner or pliers or anything like that on it, as long as it's as long as it's in there. I thought this was a DAB aerial. Apparently not. Apparently this is a 4G aerial. So I don't really understand why we need it, but I'm going to plug it in again. So it looks like a DAB aerial. So I actually thought that this, yeah, this actually says 4G on there. I thought this came with DAB, this radio, but I think probably what it is DAB plus, and it needs a separate aerial, which you probably do via USB. Which it does say it doesn't come with, but you can buy separately. So then I know I'm slightly out of shot, but we'll show it there. We got the DAB, not DAB, so I keep calling it DAB, the 4G there, and you do the same as you did with the GPS. You just put it on and then do up the nut. I know it's not me showing you very well, but I think you get the gist. So that's why we get that, because that's what we need. We need the standard aerial, which is what that is. So we'll push that in, and then that is then, apart from the connecting the main connector up, is all we need, and then we're all connected. So if I plug these in, make sure you get them around the right way, push that home. Same goes for this one. Again, make sure you get it around the right way. You can only put them in one way, but sometimes it you know, it's not going in properly and you think, oh hang on, and you got it the wrong way around. There you go, that's in. Right, we are now connected. Right, there you go. It is now all installed. I say all installed. It's now working. I've tuned in some radio stations. I've got the volume turned down at the moment. Now, one of the good things about the Xtrons, which I've heard about before, is that your mileage will not flash. And if it does flash, you can adjust a setting to stop it flashing, which is quite simple. In a lot of the stereos that you get on the cheap Chinese ones, your mileage will flash. Some of them you will be able to select the car and it will in the settings on the stereo, and it will stop the mileage flashing. A lot of them don't have that, and the only way you can stop the mileage flashing is by you doing a proxy alignment, and unless you've got multi-ECU scan, you can't do that. So for a lot of consumers out there who just want to change their stereos, it's going to cost you extra money to get someone to do that. If you went to Fiat, it will cost you about £140 just for them to stop your mileage flashing. And it doesn't always work the first time. Sometimes you have to do it several times, and it can create other errors on other ECUs within the car. And some people just do it once, it fails, and then give up and say it doesn't work. That's not actually the case. Sometimes it will take many, many goes. I've had to do it 7 times in the past to get it to work. But that's about those stereos. This is about this stereo. So, yeah, flashing mileage. As you can see, mine's not. my mileage isn't flashing, you will notice that the cowling's off. That's because I'm actually changing this speedo because it's or got it repaired because it's faulty. But that's another story. As you can see, my mileage isn't flashing. But let me just go through it with you. I'm going to take this little protective cover off, just so we can see the screen a little bit better, and I'll show you how it is that you adjust it. Right, okay, so I made a bit of a mistake with this. Let me just mute that. So I couldn't get the steering wheel controls to work, and I contacted Xtrons, and they replied to me. So I messaged them Friday night. Before 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday, they had replied to me. And I've sent them 2 messages as I had queries, and on both occasions they've messaged me back straight away. As I've heard before, Xtron's customer service is second to none, and it really has been. Now, the problem that I had was I hadn't noticed this cable here, which is also attached to the CAN bus box. There was nowhere on the stereo to plug it in, and when I was scratching my head and looking at the wires today, I noticed that this cable was here. I've plugged it in, and it works straight away. I haven't even had to set it up. It just works. So to set them up, let me just show you how you set them up. So if you go into settings, click on car infotainment, come down to SWC. You can already see the mute thing is already there because I muted the sound. If I unmute that, as you can see, they're working. So all you do to do this is you press the key that you want, you come up here, you press that, and that's it. It does it. It actually came up on the... It says that it makes that go solid blue, but it didn't on this. It puts it up at the bottom. So let me just show you. I'll do it on the plus. So I press the plus. I press the plus on the steering wheel, and it actually does the plus at the bottom of the screen. Did it do that? I didn't even notice. Yeah, it did. It just flashes up. So at the moment, all I've set up is plus, minus, mute, and source. So I've set the source onto the mode button. So I'm just going to say to the buyer, you know, you can. I'll show them how to do it and say when I sell this car and say, you know, you can set it up to your heart's desire. It's very, very easy to do. So as much as I had problems with this, I've cut most of my problems out of this video because it was me, not the Xtrons. So I'm pleased to say it is now working fully. Right, I've just removed the parcel shelf, as you can see, because it's much easier to get your cables fed down where you can grab them. USB, microphone, GPS, everything else. And what I'm going to do with the 4G cable, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down here, but then I'm going to cable tie it up here, and then I'll say if anybody wants to use it, which I don't think they probably will, they can always bring it down. I'm going to do the same with the antenna for that as well, which is this bit. So I'm not going to stick this up. It seems pointless. I don't think anyone will use it. 4G antenna and 4G SIM card, but I don't want to not install it. So yeah, that's where we are now. So I'm just going to feed these cables down. Once we've got all the cables fed down, we can then try putting it all in place and getting it in the dash. Right, everything is run down here loosely at the moment. So we've got USB cables down there, which will go in and come down a little bit further. I'm not quite sure what they're for. I need to read in the book. So I might be web dash cams. I'm not sure. One's red. We need to look up, see what they are. We have the 4G antenna hanging down there somewhere. We also have the 4G thing where you put the SIM card in, that's hanging down there as well, and we've got the long one is the GPS. The only thing left to feed is the microphone. It doesn't come with a microphone, and I did send a message to Xtrons and say, does it utilise the inbuilt microphone? And they say no, it doesn't. I thought it did, but apparently it doesn't. It has got a microphone there, which may be sufficient, but they said if you want to add your own one, you can, and you can put it up on here, or you can put it up on here. That might be the better place to put it, I find. So I've ordered a couple from Amazon, and they're coming tomorrow. So I can't finish the install today because I need to feed that microphone down. Then you need to try and feed all the cables in smoothly as you can, and so it'll push back home. That's quite challenging in itself to do that. I've already cut myself. It is quite awkward because there are a lot of wires, and obviously it does slip back into the original cage as well. At least it should do. I haven't actually tried it yet, of course, but it should slip into the cage that's already in the car. You can put the black piece of your air vents in there if you want to, and then as I showed you before, you can access the wheels there, so I'll probably do that as well, put those in, and then once it's all in there and pushed back, it should, hopefully that should be it, and then all we need to do is run these cables. As you can see there, I thought I'd do this beforehand. As you can see there, it's now connected to my phone, and all the apps on my phone, including Waze and Spotify. So this is why I don't really understand why it's got the 4G built in on these, because you don't need it. Because when you use an Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you got your apps on your phone. So if you use Waze on your phone, you're still using it on here, and you're just using your phone's data. Okay, so I'm connected to the stereo with Apple CarPlay, and all I'm going to do is I am going to call myself. So I'm going to call my home phone, and you'll see it will come up on the screen that I'm calling myself. So let me just do that. There you go. So obviously no one's going to answer it because it's calling my home phone. So that sound is quite good. If you use the volume controls, it turns up the volume, and then you can either use that on here, or you can use it do it on your phone. So that's me, and then obviously it's already connected to Apple CarPlay, but let me show you how you connect it to Apple CarPlay. Quite simply, I've already done it, so I'll just quickly show you. So you click on that phone link button, and then all you need to do is it'll come up with a thing and say connect to your phone. So all you do is you go to your phone, you go into Bluetooth on your phone, and then you select the Xtrons on your phone. It comes up with a PIN number, and it says pair. You click on pair. A few seconds later, it comes up on your screen. It's as simple as that. No different to connecting to any other wireless CarPlay. So it's wireless Apple CarPlay, and it's wired or wireless Android Auto. I haven't got an Android Auto, so I can't try that, but it works perfectly well. Okay, there it is, all pushed back. So following the phone call with my wife, which I discovered that she can hear me perfectly fine through that microphone. I've pushed it all back, I've fed all the wires in, and it is all hunky-dory. It's looking really, really nice. I am well impressed with this, absolutely well impressed. It's responsive, it's great. What's not to like? So we can go into Spotify, because it's connected to my phone. We can play music from Spotify, we can use Waze, we can do anything we like that we can do on our phone. If you press the home button, you go back to that, and you've got everything there. If you want to add anything to it, you can. If you want to add cameras, all sorts of things, reversing cameras. If I put it into reverse, does it do anything? Yes, it does. Now you can probably switch that off. We've got no signal, so if you wanted to put a camera in your car, you can. You can probably switch it off so it doesn't do that when you go into reverse. Absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That's the tray put back in with the two USB cables trailing down there. So what other features are there available to use on this stereo? To start with, there is USB tethering. So you can plug either your iPhone or your Android phone into one of those trailing USB cables, and that way you can share your phone's data on here. Personally, I don't think that's necessary, because when you're using Apple CarPlay, it's using your data anyway, and you're basically operating your phone on your stereo. So I'm not really sure why you would need to do that, but that is an option should you want to. Also, you can have an OBD dongle, so that will give you via Bluetooth. So in a Fiat 500, your OBD is behind that panel there. You just pull that off, and your OBD port is there. You can buy the additional dongle that you plug into there. It connects to this by Bluetooth, and it will allow you to do diagnostics on your car, and it will also, I believe, allow you to show various settings of like the car, of the performance of the car, and so on and so forth. So another feature, so if you come out of your Apple CarPlay and into the normal icons on the actual stereo itself, you will see there DAB+. If you want to have DAB radio, you can install it quite easily. You use one of those USB trailing leads down there that we've just showed you. You plug in a USB you plug in a DAB Plus aerial, which you have to run and stick onto the windscreen somewhere, and then you use the DAB Plus there, which will launch. As you can see there, it's saying connecting. It won't connect because we haven't got one. That's how you do that. So that's another option if you do want to have DAB. Now, DAB Plus is apparently, so I've been told, the replacement for DAB, and has a lot more features on it, and I do believe that they are going to be phasing out ordinary DAB radio, which is probably why the reason that none of these stereos ever come with DAB now. So that's another option if you want to use it. You can also add a dash cam. So you can buy, in various places, you can buy dash cams that are especially geared to use on an Android head unit. They are quite easy to install. I haven't got one, so I can't actually show you and install it. But yeah, they either connect to connections on the back of the stereo, in which case obviously you need to remove the stereo, or via USB, depending on what type you use. And of course the USB is down there if that's the way you choose. If you need to remove the stereo, you use the standard tools, and you got the same as when you remove the Fiat one pushed in there, one pushed in there, and then you just pull the stereo out and it'll come out quite easily. You've got your Wi-Fi, you've got an APK manager, APK installer, which means you can install lots of different apps. If you've got a Google account, which you probably have as you're watching this on YouTube now, you can download from the Play Store, exactly as if this was an Android tablet or an Android phone. You can download apps to your heart's desire. You can also install a reversing camera as well. We showed you earlier that when you put it in reverse, the screen went blank. That's because I don't have a reversing camera set up in this one. Again, the stereo would need to come out. So ideally, if you're going to install a reversing camera, you install it at the same time. But there is another option. Extra wires again, of course, but it's another option. So I won't go through all the settings because you do get the manual with it. If you want to see what exactly the spec of this particular model, you want to see how you can buy it, where you can buy it, and how much it's going to cost you. In fact, I've already told you how much it will cost you. The current price I will put on the screen now. At the time I have produced this video in December 2024, that may change, of course. But yeah, check the link in the description if you want to buy one of these. If you've got any questions, then of course, please do ask. So yeah, I think that just about completes the installation and review of this Xtrons Fiat 500 stereo. So that's the end of this video. It's the end of the review on the Xtrons stereo. I think you'll agree it's a brilliant bit of kit, absolutely brilliant, really, really nice. Not the cheapest, certainly not the most expensive. It is available direct from Xtrons in the link that I've put in the description, so take a look there. This morning I've just looked on Amazon. It is currently a little bit cheaper on Amazon. Not a lot, but it is a little bit cheaper on Amazon. And there are slightly cheaper Xtrons alternatives as well, which is probably a slightly lower specification, I imagine. But being Xtrons, I say, if you have any trouble fitting it, like I did a little bit, Xtrons will come back to you like that in a snap. They are really, really good when it comes to customer service. If you are in the US of A, I'm sure it'll be available on Xtrons.com, I would imagine. For you in dollars, I don't know what the price is in dollars. If I can find it on Xtrons.com or on Amazon.com for that matter. I don't know if it will let me go on Amazon.com, seeing as I'm in the UK. It might automatically send me to the UK one. Unless I use a VPN. If I use a VPN, it might work. We'll try that. If I can find out the price on Amazon.com or Xtrons.com, I should put it on screen now. And I'll put the link in the description there as well. So, yes, fantastic bit of kit. I hope this has been useful. I've been posting on various Facebook groups on the Abarth and the Fiat 500 groups recently, because there's been a lot of talk recently about stereos, updating stereos, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do this. And it just so happened that Xtrons got in touch with me and they were prepared to send me one to review. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you are not a subscriber, hit that button, subscribe on the channel, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. Until the next one, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.